Welcome to a slice of the unknown. Well, sort of. Because for 20 points in a spring of Series 39, you can go ahead and grab yourself the 1996 Subaru SVX. It's certainly an unusual looking thing, and the front of it kind of reminds me of one of the earlier generations of the Ford Crown Vic. But looking to the side, it's rather unusual. I don't really sort of have words to describe it. And going to the back, well, it essentially has kind of like the light bar that I think they used on a few generations of the Subaru Legacy. And going to the inside, we've got a fair few gauges and of course a lot of dials down there. We've got a lot of buttons towards the center console and not much on the passenger side aside from a little bit of what I would assume is an air vent. And now let's go ahead and take a listen to the EG33. Okay, so here we are now over in the upgrade shop. We're going to jump straight to conversion, and of course over to engine swaps to see what we've got. We've got quite a few available to us. We've got the 2-litre flat 4 turbo. We've got the 6.2-litre V8. We of course have ourselves a 4-litre flat 6 and a racing 3-litre inline 6 turbo, also known as the 2JZ. We can also go ahead and make this thing a rear-wheel drive should we wish to, and I think the mechanic might have done that, but I'm not too sure. Also, if we want to go ahead and do so, we can slap on a twin turbo or a supercharger. As for aero and appearance, going to the front, we of course just have a Forza Aero, which is, well, it's Forza Aero, there's not much I can say about it. And then going to the back, we've got the option of the stock wing. We've got, well, Forza Aero again, or we can take the rear wing off entirely, which kind of makes it look a bit like a failed attempt at a convertible. I was saying that, was there ever a convertible CB? Now, an interesting thing about this is it starts on pretty much below street tyres, so it's going to be very, very interesting to see what's going to happen with that. However, saying that, we do have a race tune made for us by Mechanic Mac once again, so let's go ahead and bring up the share code. There we go, feel free to go ahead and grab that for yourself, and I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So with these upgrades, we're just a shade under £2,850 with 378 brake horsepower at the top of A-Class. So let's give this thing a go. So with those upgrades installed, now we're here at the paint shop. Going to Advanced, there is nothing as usual, but going to Manufacturer paint colours, we've got a few. We've got ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different colours for this thing, including, of course, a Subaru World Rally Blue. But there is one livery that I hope is available. And there it is! I was looking for that everywhere. Right, let's download that. Now, there are a bunch of these things made, of which I'll get into the details of in just a little bit. But fun fact, did you know the SVX in this car's name actually stands for Subaru Vehicle X, or I guess Subaru Vehicle 10? Or maybe X is in experimental. Might have to look into that one. Anyway, let's go ahead and get road racing. And away we go. We're up against a whole bunch of other cars. Our aim to finish in first place, or to at very least get past the Supra, which I think hopefully we could do maybe in the first turn. Let's go ahead and see how we do into the first turn, and past the Supra we go. So we're already off to a good start. Now, I said I'd say a bit more about the numbers. Apparently there were 24,300 of these at least produced throughout its only a 5-year production run. And out of those, apparently there's only 130 of those left on UK roads, which is honestly quite astonishing, really. In all that time, we've also actually somehow managed to end up in third. Make that second. Now, you can find these out in Japan, America, and the UK, and apparently when they were first brought over here, they were roughly £28,000. Which, by the way, is this in American dollars. And past the RX-7 we go. That was very, very good indeed. It took quite a battle to get here. We're kind of half on-road, half off-road at this point, but hopefully we can try and stay ahead of everybody. Also, another small fun fact about the Subaru SVX, there was only ever an automatic version, as apparently, I believe the manual gearboxes ended up pretty much, quote, liquefying themselves. Which, when you're driving a car like this, isn't really a good thing for them to do. Anyway, around the final turn, we've got the RX-7 close behind us, but across the line we go in a rather nice first place, and let's see, we've got a time of 2 minutes 9. So as it turns out, that was a very, very interesting race indeed. Now, before we go further, it is time to check out the backstage. We've got the Ford GT from 2005 and the Koenigsegg CCX versus the Honda NSX RGT and the Saleen S7, of which this week is getting my vote. Do you agree with that? Let me know in the comments. In the meantime, it is time for our second tune from Mechanic Mac, which is Drag Spec. Let's go ahead and once again bring up the share code. There we go. Feel free to go ahead and grab that for yourselves. And we're going to go ahead and see just how much carnage this thing can have. So this thing is now even lighter at just under £2,800 with a whopping 1,270 brake horsepower. So let's go ahead and install, shall we? So here we are now over at the back of the festival. Let's go ahead and see. Do we get a wheelie check out of this thing? Actually, yeah, we do. It's not much, but it is something. In the meantime, here here we are now at the edge of the drag strips. Let's go ahead and get ourselves onto launch control, and away we go. Let's go ahead and see what we get out of this thing. Hopefully it's something good indeed. Someone else has decided to set off next to us as a sideways limousine. Didn't think I'd see that today, but apparently there we go. Cool, through the camera at 199 and off the end of the drag strip at a whopping 225 and 0 brakes. Oh dear. Surely one of these days I'll learn. Oh well. Anyway, now we get a chance to go ahead and check this thing out for ourselves. Going to apply all of our tuning because we're going to go ahead and try and make a top speed build out of this. Of course, we're starting out with the 2JZ, and we are definitely going to go ahead and throw back in all 1,270 brake horsepower because honestly, well, why not really? Also, anti-lag. Yeah, anti-lag. Let's also go ahead and make this thing lighter, and most definitely, we are putting some good brakes on this thing. You know what? I'd say that's pretty good. However, the one thing I still have to deal with is all of the gear tuning. I'll be back in a minute. In the meantime, while Tuning Me is trying to deal with the gears, here's this week's Forzathon shop. We've got the Mercedes-Benz CLK GTR from 1998. We've got a backstage pass, the black Speed Zone t-shirt, the Nissan R390 GT1, the Walla car horn, which sounds a bit like this. Wonderful. We also have the Horizon Super Wheel Spin and the regular Horizon Wheel Spin as well. In the meantime, it is time for everybody's favourite miniature game show inside of a video. How close have I gotten to the motorway grade? And today, by the looks of things, we're pretty much there. Honestly, I've got to say that is definitely a first. In the meantime, we're back on launch control, so away we go with a... That was a very painfully slow launch, my god. Okay, right, let's go ahead and see what top speed we get out of this thing. With nearly 1,300 brake horsepower, I'm hoping it's something good. In the meantime, one more fact about this car. The last time it was ever seen in a Horizon series was way back in Forza Horizon 3. Don't know about you, but I find that very, very interesting indeed. And out the speed zone at 262.78, we've still got the downhill and speed cameras to go, so let's go ahead, keep our foot flat to the floor, and go and see what we get. Okay, where's the camera? There it is, 271.11, going downhill 273, 274, 27 Bronco. To be honest, I think if it wasn't for that car, we probably could have gotten 275, which for this thing is genuinely really impressive. If you get this thing to go any quicker, let me know. In the meantime, it is time to hit our usual drift zones. Let's go ahead and see what we get out of this thing. We are very, very sideways. Very, very sideways indeed. Okay, let's try and sort that out, shall we? Across the line at 40,221. You know, I think some would argue that was a bit too sideways. In the meantime, now we're going to go ahead and go back for run number 2. We've got 40,200 to beat. Let's go ahead and see if we can do it. We've not clonked the bridge this time, which is always a good start. And out the other side at 41,780 something? At least I'm sure that's what it said. In the meantime, that is this video on the Subaru SVX. It's very, very interesting, and I guess kind of, well, it resembles a bit of a door wedge if you ask me. But definitely in all the best ways possible. And as a self-confessed Subaru fanatic, I'm very happy to have yet another Subi back in Forza Horizon 5. It's only 20 points and it'll take you roughly about half an hour to get, and I've got to say, it is so worth it. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to go ahead and like, share, comment and subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,200 by the end of the year, and we're doing pretty well. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Tech out. See ya! You know, that is a very beautiful sunset.